Hello guys, we're gonna do things a little bit differently today. First off, this video is a collab with Esper. He's an ex-Radiant player and he will talk about the theory of holding sites in different ways. After that, I will talk about other aspects of positioning, such as one-off positions, off angles, fallback lines, position impact, and some other agent specific stuff. You might have noticed that this video is a little bit longer, but I think it's beneficial for everyone to stay until the very end. Have fun!
So today we're gonna talk about positioning and what it is, how you're gonna do it, and what you need to be thinking about, right? So first things first, a common thing I see is an example, Cypher player behind A box, solo holding site, right? The issue with this is that if the team collapses, which they usually do on A site, they usually split 3-2 on either side, and the Cypher will end up dying for one major reason is because he's overcommitted and he doesn't have any sort of backup, right? So when you are thinking about where to play, you should be mindful about if you can escape. So there are many ways to deal with this. It's to either reposition in a safer angle where you can force aim duels and win, and try and win that, or you can utilize your utility. Like if I was Cypher, I would smoke this, and just like disengage, use my tripwires to get free kills and disengage. You know, there are many ways to position, but you have to think about what impact your positioning has and how it'll change the game. So if you are stuck back here and you die, you will end up losing the game for your team because now they kill you, they have site control, and your team is retaking on a 4v5. So you have to always be thinking about where you're positioning and how you should be doing it. Another thing you should be thinking about is like how you should be playing around your team as well. So the fact that I reposition back here for my example means that I'm waiting for my team to rotate and we can retake site together. I would consider that pretty good positioning in terms of keeping it safe, relatively safe, but you don't want to do that all game, all the time, right? You would be considered like a super passive player. You have to find ways to net kills, which I covered in my other videos, in my agent specific videos. But if you were, another example, if you're holding site together, you need to be mindful about your teammates' positioning. So if I have my breach sitting here, I wouldn't even have to say anything. I would know what's going on, right? I want to set up a crossfire here with my breach, so I would position here. This is how I would be thinking about a couple things. One, I'm thinking about numbers game, which is covered in class 6, and I'm thinking about how to net most kills the safest. So if these guys all push in together, in theory, if they don't use abilities, if they're all bad, it's free. It's literally free kills for me and this breach.
All right. Let's move on to one-off positions. A really simple concept. One-off positions are positions where you can only play one round or maybe 2 rounds per half, mainly to catch people off guard. Because if you keep using them, you will become very predictable. But if you use them correctly, you can get a free round. Alright, let's talk about afterplants and playing off your teammates. I grouped these two together because the clips I'm going to show you illustrate both really well. In this Sage clip, I play around my Omen the whole time. I don't want to go first because I'm a Sage and I have a Sheriff while my Omen has a Vandal, so I'm just gonna trade him if anything wrong happens. I use my wall so I can get an off angle on Heaven and support my teammate there. After I get the kill on Phoenix, I decide to go help my Reyna, because he called that the enemy is in screens and my Phoenix was also in vents, so I knew he was going to hold Heaven pretty soon. The reason for why I wanna help Reyna in the first place is because if he dies, the enemy has a real chance to retake this. But if I'm there, I know I can get the trade and secure the round. As a note, you can get info on what your teammates are doing by simply using the minimap. Let's move on to this Sova clip. I am coming from long, so I know that no one can be there. I already checked mid, and I told that to my teammates. So all we really have to do now is be careful of city and garage. I decide to check garage at first, to make sure no one is there. And then I play with my teammates. We have a great crossfire position.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
In this Cypher clip, all I do is play anti-flank and support my teammates as much as possible. I use my camera so we can enter the site a bit easier, gather some information, but all I do really is just play anti-flank. Even if I already had my 3 players up, I knew that Jet can just jump over them, so I kept holding that. My Brim also has a lineup, so I wanna help him as much as possible. After I'm 100% sure that Jet cannot come from behind, I just try to crossfire as much as possible with my teammates.
On the car.
I'm only on spike, it's okay.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, back.
Middle, push.
Let's talk about off angles now. You already know what a common spot or common angle is. So what is an off angle? It's basically the opposite of a common angle. It's a spot you don't usually play. Why should I use off angles though? It's pretty simple. It messes up the enemy crosshair placement. And you also get to throw them off, because they expect you to be in a spot and you're not there. So they most likely will panic and miss their first shot, their second shot, and that's your opportunity to get a free kill. In this Cypher clip, I try to support my race to get the bomb down. After the bomb is secure, Oman ults on long. I kill him, and I decide to go on site aggressively, because they wouldn't expect me to do that.
One enemy remaining.
Here is another clip, where I'm left in a 1v2 situation with low HP. My Sova dies on A site and then Jet will get cut off. I'm left already in a very tough situation, so I never want to let the enemy get to 2v1 me. So instead of giving them that opportunity, I decide to play an off angle.
Enemy remaining.
Fallback lines are just multiple defensive positions you can take, usually with an operator. Here is an illustration. Rena will push in, try without any flashes, and she will die. After that, you have to reposition. You are going back to site. After you go back to site, Phoenix is pushing in with Sova. You already have the advantage because you have an operator. He also dry picks you and he dies as a result of it. You go back to your final line, which is CT. Sova picks you as well and dies as a result. You can get creative with fallback lines. This is just one example out of many. For position impact, I will instead tell you how to figure out yourself if a position is high impact or not. The more of these points are filled, the higher the impact of the position is. Is it easy to rotate to and from the position? Does it hold a significant portion of the map? If you lose control of the position, does it feel like hell to play the rest of the round? Does the enemy need a lot of utility to clear you out? Are retakes harder without the position? Let's take Garage from Heaven as an example. If you lose control of it, you lose a pretty big chunk of the map. It's really easy to rotate to and from Garage. If you lose control of it, it's pretty impossible to retake C site. The enemy doesn't really need a lot of utility, but they can still spend quite a few resources, maybe a few flashes, maybe a smoke or something. So overall, Garage does have quite a high impact on the round. You can use the same process to find out other positions and whether they are high impact or not.
Nice, Omar.
Nice.
You guys are so much